but I had to give the whole presentation, like, you know.
I appreciate it so very much.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, let me just thank you for coming on today with me and doing this for my students, because I think they get a little bored listening to me after a while, and I wanted to bring some excitement into their day. Our lesson today is on success, teamwork, and company culture. And I have a little slideshow that I show them. Basically separates teamwork from group work, which in my understanding of it is that group work benefits the person who's working in the group. However, it might not benefit the group as a whole, whereas teamwork benefits not only the team, but the individual, and gives a sense of pride and accomplishment to everyone within the group. And that's how I thought that your business ran. Tell me a little bit about your model in how you create a company culture based on teamwork.
Our entire culture is based on the word team.
Right.
And there's, as we all know, there's no I in the word team. And so my wife Seema is the official owner of Island Ship Center. She and I co-own it. And but we never use the word boss, because we don't know what that is.
Right.
We always use the word team captains, because we do have a lot of kids working for us who are on teams for sports.
Yes.
And so they understand how important teamwork and playing on a team is. And we always talk about that.
Right.
So we've got, soccer and lacrosse players. And so we deal with everything based on transparency, authenticity, and empathy and collaboration.
Nice.
And you put the cherry on top is kindness.
Right.
And so to give an NFL example for all the football fans out there that yes, football's coming back. And as soon as it comes back, always remember this.
Can't wait.
That if we're at halftime right now, and if it seems that negativity, there's two teams playing, right? So negativity, this is a Gary Vee quote, negativity may be up at halftime, but kindness, my friends, always wins the game.
Always, always. How do you find, given our circumstances right now, that is it more difficult to have that culture within your building, or do you think that given the current climate, it's easier to have the culture? Do tell.
It's a great question, and we're very thankful. It's actually much easier now, because when the culture wasn't like this, where people were they weren't forced to be full disclosure and transparent with their teams. A lot of companies were not, and we always were. When we have our team meetings, we always tell them what's going on from the top down in terms of our sales goals, and transparent about not just numbers, but procedures and rules. And yes, we have rules, but the most important thing is to explain to our team why the rules are there, and also allow them to be part of modifying those rules if we deem fit for the organization, thereby playing a huge role in team culture, in collaboration, and in growing the company. Each one of our team members feels that they're doing their part. So to get back to your question, we have right now, so Jordan and Anthony and Jackson, even from home, like adding to the sanitizing procedures, adding to, well, maybe we should put, alcohol pads on the keyboards, and maybe we should clean them extra. Sure, I think that's a great idea. Why don't we do it? We make it part of the rules. It's much easier now for us because we always were able to have that open door policy. And interestingly enough, for your students, I learned that back in 2016 from a small company called Microsoft. Maybe you guys have heard of it. It was an article called Collaboration and Empathy, and how Microsoft brought everything bottom of the map and gained $350 billion market share as a result.
Wow. I look at you and I look at your company and I look at what's called principal leadership. that you have a leadership ability, you and your wife. However, you're not dictators. You have rules, but the rules are unified, and they're the commitment from your staff is 100%. They're all in. When you interview, now this kind of will go, when you interview people, you're looking for a certain type of person that will be all in, that will have results driven mindset. How do you structure an interview? I'm curious.
It's a great question, Mrs. Chamberlain, and because I know this is going to your students, that's why. Otherwise, I don't call her Mrs. Chamberlain, by the way. You know, we're fine. So it's hard for me to. But so no, honestly, Cheryl, it's a fantastic question because people ask me that all the time.
Right.
By the way, we have an opening in September of 2020, and I already have 13 applications lined up.
Nice.
And number one, our entire team takes part in the interview. Every single one. If the person started yesterday or last month, that person will also get a chance. We have a certain level of questions that we definitely have to ask, but then we leave it up to the team. A lot of the stuff is told by our team to the potential interviewee. The second thing we look for is I have something called the GEIKS method, GEIKS. I'm looking for 5 different qualities. And my wife and she's very good at finding those qualities. I guess I'm good at writing them down, if you will. So number 1 is grit. Mm-hmm. 2 is enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. The E stands for enthusiasm. The I stands for intelligence. And normally if Mrs. Chamberlain sends me someone, I don't even look at, obviously I don't look at intelligence. I'm sure that they're enthusiastic, right? The K stands for kindness.
Yeah.
And the fifth, the first and the last, Mrs. Chamberlain, are very important. The last one stands for selflessness. And in an environment, ironically, I think this might be a blessing in disguise, COVID-19, that maybe it's teaching us more collaboration, more empathy, more kindness, and more, you know what? If I stay indoors, I'm helping hundreds of thousands of others from getting infected. Maybe that's teaching us something about business culture, about society as a large.
That's so true. That is so true. And I think kindness goes a long way. And if more people were a little kinder in this world, I think that you are right. It would be perfect. I don't know if we can get close to perfect, but I think walking through your door of your company, I think in a small business perspective, I'm as close to perfect as it's ever going to be. Just the climate that you have is just so unique. And that's why I wanted to ask you a few questions today. Finally, because I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm just looking at my questions here. What would be the biggest piece of advice that you could give someone entering a new job about learning about the company culture? Not necessarily just Island Ship Center, but any position they go into, because I think it's hard for people, with the cell phones and now with these new policies and procedures. What would be your piece of advice to, hey, you're going to start this new job, this is what you should do to learn the company culture?
Number 1, be yourself. Ask a lot of questions. And be open to the fact that if you don't like, it's not just a good feel for the company. I understand that you want the job, but if you don't like what you're doing, there's a lot of other places out there. Believe it or not, there are. Okay. Mm-hmm. Once we get over this hump, okay, May, June, there's going to be a lot of opportunities out there for your students, Mrs. Chamberlain, and they should not settle except for the best, but also be aware, right? Self-awareness is huge. Right. Write down your top 10 or top 5 qualities that define who you are, not who your friends are, not who you want to be, but who you are. And then put things that the company's looking for that you want, the good qualities that you want, hang out with those people.
Right. I love that. I love that. I'm going to go off the topic a little bit, just because I'm going to show this video to not just the students I'm talking about company culture to, but also to my entrepreneurship students, because I feel like it's so important for them to listen to somebody else and get a sense of what retail is all about. What do you think going into the next month, because we're on pause again for another 30 days? What do you think the biggest challenge for retail business, whether it be online or in person, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be going into the next month to 3 months? Really, I know there's a lot of unknowns.
I like the word opportunity instead of challenge right now,
Okay.
because in my mind, today's Friday, so we're going to have a Fahim Fix Friday. The mind takes the chemical impulse of a positive word, and then the entire body acts positively. This is science. And so the biggest opportunity that I can gift to your students and to your fellow teachers, I am mentoring a young gentleman who just made $900 on Shopify setting up a shop this week.
Oh, awesome.
Sourcing, so dropship, Shopify, and PayPal and cashless options, go get them.
Yeah.
Biggest opportunity right now is to combine, and we were saying, Seema and I were saying this since 2016, is the combination of digital and analog in retail. Those who weren't doing it weren't realizing the opportunity. We are so thankful for our community that people are coming, dropping off packages in the back, calling us, trusting us with their credit card numbers, and shipping it without touching, without being seen, and
Wow.
knowing that the package is going to be delivered. So the biggest opportunity, yes, the challenge is to get there and understand that you need to get there, but combining that digital with physical is going to be that that opportunity. But yeah, Shopify is very, very big right now. And
Okay.
you know, someone who's close to your heart and mine, Ryan McCarthy, is a guru at Shopify.
He's going
And
to be our next, he's going to be next week's guest speaker.
right. So definitely get in line to talk to Ryan, and they can contact me. But look for, so there's a list that I will send you after we get off this call.
Okay.
That is a gift for your students. It is right after COVID-19 hit in the United States in March. My cousin, whose husband works at Long Island Jewish Hospital, she sent me a list of the top 100 products on e-commerce right now that are in demand, which include like the liquid soaps, and they include the sanitizers, and they include the medications. I'm going to send that list to you via
Awesome.
text, and you're more than welcome to distribute it. That's the opportunity that your students have. If they're at home, you know what? Stay busy, find places that will drop ship for you, and you know,
Yes.
start a business with $100. You know, borrow the $100 from mom and dad, and then pay them off in the month before you go back to school. How amazing would that be?
I love that idea. That is a great idea. I hope they can pick that up. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have Ryan come on next week, talk to the entrepreneurship students about doing just that. So that's awesome. Thank you. Fahim Fix Friday. So your Fahim Fix Friday is what this week? Do tell.
Well, it's I love that negativity. You know, I love the fact that, you know, people think that negativity, you know, it's how many Super Bowls and how many games have been won after being down at the half,
Yeah.
right? That's the most important thing. And Simon Sinek quote, paraphrasing, there's a difference. Listen, people think I'm always positive. No, I'm optimistic. There's a difference between being optimistic and positive. A positive person is not, if you're always positive, you're not realistic. An optimist understands the reality that we may be in a negative situation, but the optimist looks to the future, that there is a sunrise, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and things are coming. So let me take you to that. Let me guide you to that. And the difference between a boss and a leader, finally, the boss says, do this, and a leader says, let's do this.
Ah, Fahim Fix Friday. That was amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
If this goes viral, it's not my fault. Just kidding.
You know what? Pay it forward. People need this. They always need optimism. They need, so, you know, kindness, collaboration, resilience, optimism, and just being open and authentic. I think our authentic selves need to shine out right now more than
Totally.
ever. Be who we are. And you know what? This is the time to help others. And the secret to living is giving. Being of service to others has really helped our business grow. So
It
I
has.
know it's counterintuitive or seems that way, but it's really the secret to success. Be there for others, and karma will follow you.
Nice. Thank you, Fahim.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.